All right, hello everyone. Hey, welcome to our second Educator Mindset Talk series. Today we're gonna talk about fear, failure, and success. So before we get started, right? Please let us know if you guys can hear us and see us okay, and where are you watching these live sessions now? Because we're broadcasting this session to many platforms on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. It would be great if you can let us know where you are seeing us now. All right, so Gemma is with us, and Robbie is with us too. Just so you know, for those of you who are who were looking forward to seeing Steffi, sorry about that. Steffi is a little bit under the weather right now, so she's gonna skip this session today, just to make sure she's 100% ready for the mindset workshop next week. Okay, but instead we're gonna have Robbie here. Joining us, I hope that can make it up for the Steffi fans, right? Okay, so we got someone commenting in the chats from New Jersey. Either that's a LinkedIn user, and we have people commenting from YouTube, which is good. Let us know too, like where if you guys can see us and hear us. Okay. All right. Today's topic is the fear, failure, and success. Okay. Let me get that. And Gemma and Robbie, if you guys want to share a little bit and introduce yourself if you want.
Sure. Yeah, I feel under a lot of pressure now to step in for Steffi today. So I'll do. Obviously, Steffi is irreplaceable, but I'll do my best.
Oh, no, it's fine, Robbie. It's good to have you here. Yeah.
No.
So I wanted to introduce myself. So, hi everyone. It's good to be here. I'm Gemma, CSO and partner at Bowie. So, for myself, I think just to kind of think about fear of failure and fear of success. One thing I realized during my journey is it wasn't just you might be like fear of success, and we'll get into this, but actually if you're like showing up online and in a business, for me, it was I started to get some traction. And then there's a lot of feelings of, oh, wow, this is actually working. This is scary. So you might be like, wait, fear of success. So I just we will touch on what that actually looks like. And I'm sure many can relate to that once we get into it. But for myself, I noticed that a lot in my own business. So I have my own business, Fluent Speakers, that I launched in 2020. And then working with other teachers now at Bowie Strategy, I've been able to like recognize a lot of their fears in myself and my own fear of what I had during that time. So I think we can talk a lot about that today.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Gemma. For that. Yeah, just to warm up a little bit, guys. Yeah, so we have this is our Educator Mindset Talk series. We had our first session about imposter syndrome on Monday, and today's our second session, fear of failure and success. And we're gonna have our third session on Friday, fear of promoting yourself, and then last session about the mindset talk on January 30th, which is a Tuesday at the end of the month, about money mindset. Okay, so we have these events. Just if you don't know this about don't know if you don't know about this yet, we have created this a monthly event homepage. I want to show you guys very quickly. So just make sure that you don't get lost, because we do a lot of sessions now. So this is our homepage of the monthly events. As you can see, right, the spotlight of the month is this mindset workshop hosted by Steffi, and we're 6 days away. Okay, 6 days away. I know a lot of you guys probably have already registered. If you haven't, you can come here and click on the link here. I will share the link with you in just a minute. And then this is Educator Talk series. So we have imposter syndrome and failure and success and promoting yourself mindset. And any of these links gonna take you to the live session. If you miss, like for example, if you miss the imposter syndrome, any of the links gonna take you to the recording. Okay, we made it very convenient for you guys to watch all these sessions. And if you want to connect with any of us, here are the links to connect with us. And then even the sessions we did in December, you can come here to request the recordings and also watch sessions. And we're going to keep updating this website. We are planning for the February sessions already. Once we finish the January one, you can see February sessions on the same page. Okay, so everything is so convenient. Yeah, let me just share that link with you guys. Now it's your turn to tell us what do you think about fear of success and failure? Like, what's your story about that? And then we can start from there. Let me stop sharing. Okay, I'll just share the link with you guys. If you don't have it, let us know. I think you should be able to see it already in the chat. If you don't have it, you can always reach out to us for it. Okay, and I will step away for maybe 15 minutes. I have an urgent test I have to finish, and then I'll just let Gemma and then Robbie to lead. I will be back in about 15-20 minutes. Okay, thank you guys. I'll see you soon. Okay.
I think you're going to hear me. Perfect. So, yeah, Robbie, I don't know if you want to kind of introduce yourself a little bit as well. I don't think you've.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So for those who don't know me, my name is Robbie, and I've been working with Bowie for about 2 years, and my role mostly involves helping teachers, helping educators plug any gaps they have in their marketing or their sales skills, so they can have more success independently. So yeah, my own background is in teaching, so I made that transition myself in 2020 into online teaching. I learned quite a lot. I was fortunate that I eventually started getting some traction, and one thing I realized, probably the biggest takeaway, was to have success independently, it takes more than just being good at teaching. You've got to be able to market yourself, and you've got to be able to conduct sales. And I know marketing and sales aren't the most popular terms or popular topics for teachers, because of course you want to help people, you don't want to market to them, you don't want to sell to them, but they are key pieces of this puzzle. So I'm super passionate about helping teachers level up in these areas so you guys can have more success. So very fortunate to be part of the Bowie team, to be working with awesome people like Gemma, James, and Steffi, and really excited to be here today. Like I said, Steffi is irreplaceable, but I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. And you mentioned some key points of like sales, marketing, and different aspects. And I think one thing with failure is that initial transition. So like way back when you first do anything new, there's always going to be this, I guess, apprehension. It can also be anxiety. It can be even stronger. And a lot of it's all based on our expectations. I think one is the expectations we have on ourselves, but also on society generally. But also if we tell our friends, our family, like, oh, I'm starting this business. And I know you've had a few stories to share, maybe Robbie, about that, of like, oh yeah, I'm starting this business, and just that, I guess, the apprehension around that. And a lot of, I think, the fear of failure is very closely linked to perfectionism and wanting to do the best thing right away. The first time we do something, we expect like 100%, and setting extremely high standards. So maybe we can talk about that initial like journey of when you start something new. Like both of us have kind of a similar background and kind of a similar story of like working in a regular classroom. We've both taught online, and then we've also transitioned. We both did the 21-day challenge, and we both kind of transitioned from being, a teacher and quite comfortable, like working in that environment, to then being way out of our comfort zones. Yeah, so maybe
Absolutely. It's a really good point.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think at the start of anything, like when we decide, okay, I'm gonna do this thing, I'm gonna start an online teaching business, I'm gonna increase my hourly rate, I'm gonna become a niche teacher. It's very exciting, and maybe we tell our friends, we tell our family about it, and it's really cool. And at that point, we're usually imagining doing the thing, and we're having success. We're really good at it, right? And I think the problem is, whenever we learn something new, we don't usually imagine that period in between where we're making mistakes, when we're trying things, when we're messing up. And I think just being aware, okay, learning, it's messy, and that's okay. And that's a good thing. And when I make mistakes, it's okay because I learn something new and I move forward. When I'm frustrated, that's actually not such a negative thing because it means I'm growing. It means I'm pushing myself into the edge of my comfort zone. And I think just being aware of that is really important. Sometimes when I'm working with my clients, I give the analogy, when I was a kid, I learned the piano. And in my mind, before I went to my first lesson, I'm already imagining myself playing in front of my family and, people are clapping and I'm really good. And I didn't imagine myself, playing the wrong notes and having to try it again and, being nervous going to the lessons and all that stuff. And it's just an inevitable part of the learning process, and just knowing that it's there, knowing that it's okay, and actually embracing it can really, really help us get through that tricky, messy period.
Yeah, no, I love that you were already visualizing your success from your piano. That's so cool, like that you were doing that. That's yeah. And Safi just said learning is messy, and that's very true. I think one thing that plays into that around mindset is specifically, I'm not sure how much the audience are familiar with Carol Dweck, and having that book really helped me around having a growth mindset. And I think with learning anything, so you were saying about how making mistakes, and it's like you had a growth mindset from a young age, from what you've said, and a fixed mindset is really when you feel that mistakes are evidence of maybe your incompetence. Like if I make a mistake, it means that I'm not good at this. I'm just not talented, or I'm not good at sales and marketing. If I'm not good at it, then I'm just a failure. Like that's kind of the mindset that comes up when you have that fixed mindset. And a lot of that is linked to having a lower sense of esteem, but really it's just a belief of I'm not talented, or I'm not good at this, and I'm just not naturally good at speaking on the camera, for example. I'm not naturally good at sales. So having that fixed mindset, I think, is one of the main issues. And that's one thing, you might think, okay, yeah, but I don't really think like that. But there's specific challenges and mistakes that come up. And I know for me, that's really played into like, oh yeah, I'm not actually that good at showing up on camera. I'm not good at doing webinars and just telling yourself, well, I'm not really good at this. So yeah, I'm just never going to be good at it. I guess that kind of comes up of having that fixed mindset.
Totally. It's such a cool book, by the way, Carol Dweck, Mindset, I think. But it's all about that idea of a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Maybe if you've read it, let us know in the chat. Also, if you're watching this and you're enjoying it, please give it a like, give it a thumbs up wherever you're watching, because that's going to help more people find their way to this video. So that would be amazing. And yeah, you mentioned a few really interesting things there, Jenna. Some people are just naturals. Oh, that person is really good on video. I'm just not someone who's good at video. And a couple of things about that, right? Number one, that is just demonstrably not true. They've done studies. There's this thing called neuroplasticity, which is, and they've proven this, the brain changes, it grows, different parts of the brain change over time, over the course of your life, as you learn new things, as you develop new skills. So if you think, oh, I'm not a natural, or I'm never going to be good at that, it's just not true. And if you don't believe me, just to take that example about talking on camera, does anyone know Gary Vee? You might know him from social media. He does these videos, kind of super motivational. He's not everybody's cup of tea, but he's gone on to get millions of followers, be extremely successful, primarily through video content. If you go back, there's a video still circulating on the internet from him. It's on YouTube. It's from 2006, and he's in the chat, Antonio says Gary Vaynerchuk. Yeah, that's the guy. And it's he's doing this presentation for his first business, and he's so awkward and he's so nervous, and all of that charisma that people see nowadays, it's just not there. So if you see someone and they're doing something, they're creating content, they're doing these videos on social media, it might not be that they're a natural. It might just mean that they've done more repetitions than you. They've just done it more times. So I think it's such an important point. Nobody is stuck where they are. And I don't believe in this idea of like some people are naturals. Like, yes, we're all different, but I think the naturals, they're made, not born. You can turn yourself into a natural. So and it's a really, really important point. And I think like in this idea of entrepreneurship, like you are gonna have to learn new skills. So yeah, just embrace that fact. Like don't let those limiting beliefs stop you. Oh, I'm not good at sales, I'm not good at marketing. Okay, maybe you're not good now, but you just haven't done it enough times. You haven't practiced, you haven't pushed yourself and done the repetitions. So it's a really cool.
Talking about being good at everything, I think like, or like you have that ability, I believe. And I think there's this idea that you need 10,000 hours of like deliberate focus or practice to become an expert in something. So, and that's, a lot of research behind that. And I think that's everyone can, if you wanted to, for example, become a pianist, like from a young age, people are like, well, you must be talented. Well, actually, it's probably because you spent hours of your childhood, right? So to become good at it, and you put a lot of effort into that. But one thing is, I think we do all have that ability. Everyone has that ability. But just when you like have your business, we have that perfectionism. And I think I saw a comment just a moment ago about perfectionism. And that is like, we feel like we should be good at everything. I know for me, it's like, I wanted to learn all the skills to understand the business and understand different aspects. But I quickly learned, well, I'm not actually very good at doing this, and I don't like doing it. So I had to quickly learn, well, I don't need to be good at everything. And that, I guess, that perfectionism of like, oh, I'm not the best at doing this. But that's when I was at the point where I'm like, okay, I'm not the best at this. I do understand it, or maybe I don't enjoy it. But that's when I kind of learned that there are some tasks that maybe I could hire someone for 5 hours a week who was way better than me at doing that. So a lot of it is you have the ability, I believe, with that, to become an expert in something and to become much better and to improve. But the mindset of you don't have to be good at everything that you do every single time. Yeah.
Great point. Gemma, you mentioned that study, the one where like they concluded that you need 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert. I wish I could like find that study and just destroy it like it never existed, because that has discouraged so many people from learning new skills. And like, yes, okay, like there could be a lot of truth there that it does take 10,000 hours to become an expert, but you can become good at something much quicker. There was actually a TED Talk I saw before where a guy talked about that study. And I think he was like, no, like I'm gonna disprove it. I'm gonna learn how to play the banjo in 30 hours. And like he did it. So I think the important point here is like, yeah, it might take 10,000 hours to become an expert, but you don't have to be an expert at something to get the results you want. So you talked about like starting your business. And for me, I realized, okay, I was always quite comfortable teaching, and, I felt quite confident with my teaching skill, but I couldn't market myself and I couldn't sell myself. And right at the beginning of my business, I was getting these calls, we call them strategy sessions, but they're basically sales calls where you speak to an interested student and you see if they're a good fit, and then you tell them your price. And it was just no after no after no after no. So I realized, okay, so my gap right now is in sales. I need to learn more about doing these calls. I need to become more natural, more comfortable communicating my value and understanding these people during the calls. And that was it. I blocked out everything else, all of the other noise, all of the other advice on social media, and just focused on that one thing until some of those calls started becoming yeses. And then, okay, I've plugged my gaps here. Now let me see where the other gap is, and then focus on that one thing. So just taking care of one thing at a time, improving to the point where you can start getting the results you want, and then moving on to the next thing, is really helped me deal with that kind of like overwhelmed. And I know it's bad out there. Like if you scroll down LinkedIn or scroll down Facebook, there's like a million coaches and they're all giving like a million different pieces of advice. So my recommendation right now is analyze where you're at. What's the one thing that if you got better at this one thing, you'd be much closer to getting the kind of results you want, and just get laser focused on that one thing for now. And remember, like, you're not stuck where you are. There's no such thing as a natural. And just do the repetitions.
Yeah, one thing is about, you don't start from zero. So for you were saying like, you don't need to be an expert. You don't need to be like, good is, I think being okay with okay. That's something that I had to keep telling myself, and I still do. It always comes, I've just finished, we've both finished a recent course that we've created, the mastery course. And you have to tell, there's always that perfectionism tendencies that come up of, no, and it could be better, and there's more things I could do. But one thing is, I always tell myself, aim for B+. And that's really hard. That's hard because I want A+ every time, but B+ is really great. So I think that's something I have to always tell myself as well. And one thing is, you're saying about like going into the skill that, we don't come to things with zero. We all have our different backgrounds and knowledge and experience that really can translate. So, for you, like for educators, for teachers, we are used to, showing up and speaking. There's different skills that we've already developed, problem solving skills. One thing is like adaptability that I think is really crucial when you, have an online business, is being able to adapt under pressure. And that's something that you definitely have as a teacher of unexpected situations that come up, or crazy things happening in the classroom, or there's different things that happen that we already know how to problem solve, or we already have effective communication skills. We already, know processes and frameworks that we can apply to share our ideas. So I feel like we don't come to things with zero. We have a lot of skills that we can translate into our business.
For sure. There's a lot of really cool comments I'm seeing here. David says, Jen says, be okay. But okay, yeah, I think that's really helpful advice, because a lot of us get hung up on this idea of perfection, the perfectionist demons. And it's definitely something that like has tripped me up before. Oh, I don't want to do this thing because it's not going to be perfect, or it's not going to be good enough. So I think in those situations, we just need to remind ourselves, okay, yeah, but like the universe doesn't work that way. Like anytime you do anything for the first time, you're probably not going to be that good, but the only way you actually get better is by doing it. And yeah, of course, people don't like that feeling. Oh, I'm doing something, it feels awkward, it's uncomfortable, but it's, a huge part of this journey is just pushing through that. Like I always use analogies with the gym. Like I remember the first time I went to the gym, it was horrible. Like I didn't know what to do. I was like, are people looking at me? Like it feels so awkward. But like when you push through that initial period, that's when you start to see the results. And I think we can see that in business all the time.
And one thing you're saying about going to the gym, you see others at the gym who are, doing these big weights, and you're like, wow, it's so easy for them. And it's the same, like you see people on social media, or they're like smashing it in their business, and it's like, wow, they know more than me, or like, oh, that's so much better than me. Like, oh, it's so easy for them. And a lot of comparison comes up. And I think that's kind of where it comes into a fear of success in a way, is almost that, maybe not, but it's like a lot of comparison of, it must be so easy for them. Oh, well, I'm obviously not that good at this, I'm not perfect at this, and they clearly know what they're doing. This is way out of my comfort zone. So yeah, that's another thing, is seeing other people succeeding.
Great point. Yeah, here's the thing about social media. It can look like everybody is a massive success, right? Some people talk about their challenges, but like very often people paint a picture of this perfect business or this perfect life, and like, usually it's quite far from the truth. So yeah, my advice with comparison is like, don't fall into the trap of like letting other people's success like invalidate you or trigger those negative feelings. Like you can go down like a spiral of negativity that way. So one way I try to stay positive and stay focused is like every morning I just spend 20-30 minutes if I can, like working on a skill. So I talked about like whatever the most important skill for you right now in your business is. So right now I'm learning more about email because I want to build a stronger connection with the people on my email list. So I spend 20 or 30 minutes in the morning working on that skill. And the only comparison I make then is like where I'm at today compared to where I was at yesterday. And that's a really, really good feeling then when you feel like you're improving, you're making progress and you're getting closer to your goals. And hey, like if you see other people succeeding, like be happy for them. If they did it, if they really did it, it means it's possible for you too. So but definitely we need to keep reminding ourselves of these things, because I know it is very easy to fall into that spiral of negativity when we draw those comparisons.
I think that's a good point, Robbie, about one thing at a time. And if you focus on just the actionable tasks each day, you will gradually move out of your comfort zone without even really knowing it, I believe, because you're doing the work. That's how you move out of your comfort. It's like you don't just go from like never posting online to having, when you see like the YouTubers like Gary Vee, who's over many years has been doing that every single day and improving. So I think it's like focus on one thing at a time, the tasks that I need to do each day, knowing which tasks to do. And then also like maybe getting support from the community, because one thing I realized speaking, we've worked with many big influencers, and actually I've noticed that the bigger they get, sometimes they have even more like fear of failure in a way, because it's like they have even more expectations on themselves. So yeah, Steffi said about her first LinkedIn post. Yeah, the first videos that you put online, I think they won't be your best, but it's just thinking, okay, these are the tasks that I need to do, and just doing that each day, knowing exactly, like really focusing. Like for you said, okay, email marketing, let's learn and have that open mind around doing it and investing and being open.
Totally. And like that's such a good point about like leaving your comfort zone. Like I always tell my clients, like, you don't have to jump outside your comfort zone, right? It's way too scary there. You're gonna get overwhelmed and you'll probably retreat back in. But if each day, if you can just lean into the edge of it, if you can just push against it and expand it that little bit, that's all you have to do. And those like incremental improvements, they're going to really compound and stack up over time. So take Steffi's first LinkedIn post, for example. Like if we go back and we have a look at that now, Steffi, you'll probably cringe. And I'm only saying that because when I go back and look at my first videos, my first posts, I feel that way too. But the reason is we know we've gotten better, right? The only reason we'd look back and feel embarrassed is because we've improved. But the only way we get better is by actually starting and going through that awkward, uncomfortable phase.
Yeah, and that's something I actually did when I was, especially, on social media before. Like really, I didn't go all in on Instagram until like 6-7 months ago, I would say. But before that, there was something stopping me. Yes, fear of failure, fear of success. And what was stopping me is like, it's one, procrastination also comes into it, I think. But I had the advice from someone, and she has a really big channel, and she was like, go back and watch my first videos. They're there. Like, see them. You will see that I was also really, and now like she's very successful, and she was like, go back and look at anyone's if they still have them on their YouTube channel. If they and now I go back and I look at some of my videos, and it's like, okay, like I did the best that I could with the skills and knowledge I had at the time, and that's good enough. But at the time, it's like, going back and seeing, my first posts. But yeah, Steffi about her first post. Exactly. Nobody will see that post again. Right. and unless it's you, and sometimes you can even hide these. Like some of them, they were so terrible that I was like, okay, I need to delete this one because it makes no sense.
Honestly, I'm terrified at the prospect of someone like finding my Instagram and scrolling down far enough to see my first videos. But like, hey, like leave them there. You know, it's
Yeah.
good. That's why we started. And if I feel embarrassed, it probably means I got a bit better. So
Exactly.
yeah, and hey, like anyone who believes that idea about naturals at videos, naturals at sales, just track down that Gary Vee video from 2006. It's definitely still on YouTube, floating around.
Yeah, I think we have a few questions, quite a lot of comments here actually. Maybe
Cool.
we can get some.
Awesome. Do you want to pull one up?
Yeah, let me see. I don't know if it will allow me to.
Okay, let me see if I can.
I'm not logged in. Maybe that's why.
So, question here about great question about the English teaching market being saturated. The average teacher can make $5,000 consistently online, I guess consistently a month online selling their services. So, Gemma, like you have had a very successful niche teaching business. You're still actively involved in it. So, what advice would you give here?
Yeah, I think so. This really goes back to the most basic things that I learned from the 21 day, from a long time ago, and that's really being like standing out and being like a general versus niche. So yes, it is saturated, and if you think like that, again, it's mindset, I would say, because I do believe that there is a teacher for everyone, and it all depends on how we position ourselves and also how we see our services and what we have to offer. So a lot of it is knowing your value, knowing your worth. And for example, I've been thinking about like passive income streams, and maybe you can also touch on that as well. But there's a lot of people with digital courses. There's a lot of people that have created, there's lots of different memberships out there. And what I had to ask myself in the beginning is, but there's certain people that I like to follow. And sometimes it's just because of their personality. I like the way that they teach something. I like, maybe I just feel like they would be a really great friend. And actually, I realize that's the same case for me and my own students. Some of my own students now are my friends. And I realize that they want me to be their teacher because they like because it's like, not that I'm the best teacher that there is, but because they just like my style. And I think having that first mindset of there is students out there for me, there's billions of people around the world that want to learn English. And there is someone for everyone. But I think, again, it's how you position yourself and how you see your services. So that's the first thing. The next thing is then maybe more around how you market yourself and how you position yourself. And maybe that's more like Robbie's expertise of like marketing and how you do that. But that would be my initial kind of thought around that, is the mindset of how you think. If you think it's saturated, then it is saturated. We have the mind. Right? I don't know if you agree, Robbie.
No, I do agree, and like I've seen it quite a lot of times. Like people will hop from one niche to the other because they're like, "Oh, this niche doesn't work. Oh no, this niche doesn't work. Oh, this is the wrong niche." And very often, when I take a closer look, I'll have a look at what they're doing, maybe their posts, their content, their messaging, and I'm like, well, it might not necessarily be the niche. It could be your approach. And we talked about skill gaps, and if there's a skill gap in your, let's say, your content, your marketing, it doesn't really matter what niche you choose, you'll find it difficult to attract regular clients. So one thing, like if you look at social media, if you look at the people who really are having success, not like the people who are portraying that they're having success, but the people who genuinely have lots of clients and get lots of great testimonials, the one thing I think they all have in common is all of their posts, all of their content, all of their videos. You can see they genuinely have their audience's best interest at heart. It just radiates through everything they do. That like authenticity. And I know authenticity is a buzzword, and like everyone's like, oh, just be authentic. Like I think that all authenticity boils down to is believing what you're saying and feeling good about sharing it with other people. And if you can tick those two boxes in your content, I promise you'll find it easier to attract clients. Like stop chasing likes, stop chasing engagement, like all those vanity metrics that give us those dopamine hits, and just think, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write a piece of content now. And if one person in my niche happens to stop scrolling and reads this and it helps them, then I'm a success, right? You take back control of your outcome. It doesn't matter if I get 1,000 likes or 1 like. If just one person reads this and gets value from it, or one person watches this video and like it helps them a little bit, I'm a success. And the cool thing is, when you make that your default state, creating any piece of content, you'll actually find you start attracting more people, and your engagement will start to go up anyway, because people will sense, okay, this person is genuine. This person really cares about me. They really have my best interests at heart. And if you go down that LinkedIn feed, you'll see it. Like, you'll see the people who are really killing it. Like, that comes through in their posts. They genuinely care about their audience.
I do the exact same thing even still today. I write my post for my one student. She's actually been my student since 2020. And I think about her when I'm writing and I always think, I don't need to have thousands of students. I don't need everyone to like this. As long as it's going to help her. And I just, everything that I do is like, okay, will Karen like this? And every time, and she has a name, and I think about Karen every time. And that really helps with just actually making it happen, because it's like, it's scary to post your first video. It's scary to have your first sales call. It's scary to do all of these things. But if you think, well, I'm just showing up for that one person, I would say it's way easier.
Totally. And yeah, do you know the reason it's scary, right? One of the reasons it's scary is that we're afraid of a negative response. Like, okay, if I make this video and I put myself on camera, what if someone leaves a mean comment? Or like, what if it just doesn't do very well? I'll be destroyed. I'll be devastated. But like, the only way you can attract the right people on social media is by being brave enough to risk repelling the wrong people. And like, when you are authentic, you will. It's attract and repel. You'll automatically bring in the right people, and you'll push away the wrong ones. And that's a win-win, right? You don't want those wrong people either. They're not a good fit for you. So that's one thing as well. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm going to be this video. I'm going to be as authentic as possible. If someone says something bad, who cares? Because I know I'm authentic and I'm coming from the right place, and I'm genuinely care about helping people with this video. So any negativity, it doesn't actually mean anything. That's the risk I'm prepared to take to help the right people, to attract the right people.
Yeah, I like Simone's comment. I can't share it. I think I needed to log in, but she said, no one in the world does what I do the way that I do it. And I think that's I think it goes back to the point that the question we were just addressing. And that's something always to think about, is we all have our own unique value. And whether you're, creating and selling teaching materials, or if you are putting your own course together, your own coaching, everyone has their unique approach. And I think really always remembering that is helpful.
For sure. Gemma, I want you to address this, because I think this is so important that we answer this.
Okay. No. So the question is, did you need to be perfect in your knowledge in teaching ESL when you started? Absolutely not. And we're going back to, I do have, qualifications. I did the CELTA. I have master's degree and a degree in ESL. But honestly, it's not one. I think I learned a lot through doing that and had a lot of practice. But is it essential to be, I don't even know what perfect in your knowledge is, right? I don't think that exists.
Doesn't exist. Perfect doesn't exist. There's no such thing. Never let it stop you from doing anything. Remember, the only way.
Some of that among the imposter syndrome too, the perfectionism. Yeah. I think they just come together.
Yeah, that's it. And even if I was perfect in knowledge, let's say that did exist, it wouldn't necessarily, it's what you do with that. And you can have all the information in the world, but then it's, well, I could still have this fear of failure. I would still have this fear of success of, okay, well, how can I show up in my business? So even if you have all of the knowledge, it's also how you step out of your comfort zone, and can you support people and show up. So, okay, Antonio, meaning the difference between all the tenses? Oh, no, No, I absolutely don't. Even now, I make mistakes all the time in my lessons, in my teaching, and my students will tell me. And I think that's something that I learned is, my students I make mistakes in my post. For example, I updated my LinkedIn bio and I spelled monetizing wrong. And Robbie was like, oh, I think you need to change that. So I make mistakes like that all the time. And I think it's just not being, that perfectionism comes in as being okay with okay. And knowing that you aren't a machine. Your students don't expect you to know everything. They want support with, they're more concerned. They're not worried about, oh, my teacher didn't know the past participle of this. Like, I think they're more interested in how you can support them, and just, it's not just about how much knowledge someone has to answer.
Yeah,
right?
totally. And I think, like, for anyone with, I guess this really comes down to imposter syndrome, right? Like, do I know enough to provide the service that, I'm promising? And my advice for this is, like, yes, I'd be okay with okay, but at the same time, like, go into every session and give it 100%. So prepare as much as you can, aim to over deliver in every session you do. Your clients are going to sense that. They're going to see you're really there, you're doing your best to deliver for them, and they'll be prepared to maybe overlook some gaps in your knowledge initially, because they'll see, like, you're genuinely doing everything you can to help them. And when you go in with that mindset, that's going to help you improve way more. So I used to train newer ESL teachers, and, like, nobody knows all the grammar at the start. Like for native speakers, it's even worse. Like, okay, we can speak it, we don't know what present perfect, like, what's that? How do I teach that? Nobody knows all the grammar. So my advice for anyone who, like, is kind of worried about those areas is prepare for one lesson at a time. And if there's a grammar point in that lesson, do your homework, study that one grammar point, know it inside out. And then if they ask you any questions outside of that, just tell them, it's a great question. In this lesson, I really want to focus on this one thing, but that's definitely something we can cover in another lesson. And I think, yeah, as long as you're prepared for that one topic, you're going to be okay. And then you can learn one thing at a time that way.
And another thing is, I want to point out, so it's also dynamic. So basically, you shouldn't just see yourself the same all the time, right? You need to know, every time you work with someone, every time you do something, you get better at what you do, right? So you can't say, oh, I'm not perfect now, I can't do this, I'm not ready. So by doing it, you're getting closer to be ready, to be perfect. And then the hesitation, the fear that stop you from doing it will keep you the same place forever, right? So the dynamic view of this is important too. So oh, if I do this, just like what Robbie said, if I'm fully commit to this, if I have my 100% when I work with my students, when I do everything I do, right, it's gonna be okay, because you're getting better and better at what you do, right? So I think everyone, any one of us, when we first started, I don't think that it was not even close to perfect on anything, right? But we get better and better. Even now, we're not perfect, but still, I feel like we're getting better, and then we have more confidence, right? So that's the thing. You need confidence to overcome the imposter syndrome, to overcome these fears. So, but you wouldn't get that if you just get paralyzed by the fear and you don't do anything.
Totally, James. And like you mentioned confidence. I actually think to become confident, you actually need to be courageous first. So you need to be brave enough to go into that uncomfortable situation where you don't feel very good. And it's like you said, it's through that experience you get better. And it's that competence that then results in your confidence. And that's just the way everything works. And like you guys, you can find inspiration everywhere. Like you can find it in business, but even if you look at sports, like Michael Jordan, best basketball player of all time, when he was a teenager, all of the coaches said his brother was the better player, his brother was the better prospect. So we go back to that growth versus fixed mindset. Imagine Michael Jordan said, oh, he's better than me, he's more of a natural, I'm never going to get better, I don't like being worse than my brother, I'm just going to stop and do something else. You know, and like you can find it everywhere. There's like a scout report from Cristiano Ronaldo, who went on to be one of the best footballers of all time, from when he's 18 years old or 17 years old at Sporting Lisbon. And the coach is like saying all these weaknesses and all these shortcomings he has in his game. And like he went on, you know, to be certainly the most famous footballer and arguably the best footballer of all time. So you guys, you can find inspiration everywhere. And yeah, don't ever let that idea, I'm not good at this thing, I'm not perfect at this thing, I'm not a natural, don't ever let that stop you from doing something.
That's right. That's definitely correct. Yeah, guys. Just okay. I'm hearing myself now. It's good. Okay, guys. Just so quickly, we have this mindset workshop next week. If you haven't registered, please register. It's gonna be a 3-day workshop with Steffi. Let me just show you guys one more time. So this month is kind of, we dedicated this month, the entire January, as our mindset month. Okay, the biggest event will be the workshop. So I want to share with you the screen again one more time. So, and you haven't got a link to our monthly event homepage, I'll share that in the comments one more time. So this is the place where you can find all of our events. If you like this educator mindset talk, this session, and we're gonna have so many more coming this year. So make sure you bookmark this event, this page, and check it out. Every month we update with the sessions we're gonna run in that month. And this month we have this 3-day mindset workshop. Please register. Even if you don't have time to join us live, it's a 3-day workshop. Every day is 2 hours. If you have time to join all of them, or even if you don't have time to join any of these, right, make sure register as well to receive all the recordings. Okay, after the session, you can watch it yourself. And for any of these sessions, the Mindset Talk series, we're on the second one. We had the first one, imposter syndrome. And go to the page. You can click on any of the links. You can watch the recordings, right? And you can go on these links to watch the recordings if you miss this one or part of it. And then we're gonna have another one, fear of promoting yourself. We kind of already talk about that a little bit. We can focus on that more on Friday, how you get yourself online and what are the fears you have, right, when it comes to promoting yourself, right? So we're gonna talk about that on Friday. And then we have a last one in this series, money mindset. We're gonna do that on January 30th, and you can watch watch the live session or the recording by click on any of the links, and also previous sessions we run. So next month, when you are on the same page at this one, you will see all the February sessions, right? We're gonna start building up on this web page, so you do want to bookmark it, right? So yeah, just wanted to quickly get back to this topic, right? Fear of failure and success. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this topic so far? I think everyone agree with us right now. So you yourself can be the worst enemy, right? So at the time that whenever you say this, oh, I can't do this. Trust me, if you don't get rid of these thoughts in your mind, nothing gonna happen, right? You can't even think about it. I cannot do this. You can do everything, right? Don't limit yourself, right? So anything else from you guys, Robbie, Gemma? I know you talk a lot. I missed part of it, but anything we haven't touched on?
I think you reminded me of a quote, but I'm going to butcher it. And I can't even remember who said it, but it's just what you said there, James. It's like the people who say they can do something and the people who say they can't do something, they're both right. So, yeah, it really does. It all goes back to mindset. Everything starts there. Anyone know who said that quote, by the way? I'm super curious now.
No, I'm not sure who said that. One thing I think for me that's really helped is, one, I would say having that growth mindset. And I would highly recommend, reading and supporting your mindset. It's a continuous thing. And I would say there's different, and I know Steffi will be sharing exact things you can do in the workshop of what you can do to really, I noticed there was different practices that helped me each day, like spending 30 minutes a day reading, or having like more of a nighttime routine, like basic things that really help my mindset. And I know Steffi will be, sharing more about that in the workshop, of the different activities you can do. But I think it really helped, one, to really work on my mindset every day, having a growth mindset focus, reading books, listening to podcasts. But then also it helped massively to be part of a community and knowing that I wasn't alone in this. And I think that's a big part for me that has really helped and still helps, is knowing there are others doing this. Yes, they are successful, but yes, they also have a lot of challenges too. And I just felt really comforting knowing that they weren't perfect right away, and I don't have to be perfect right away. And, seeing how like messy it can be, and just taking action anyway. And I think I no longer see it as failure, but just as data. And I think it's definitely something James has taught me. Have that as information. So if I don't have any information to go from, I see it as almost like a science experiment. You don't do like research or an experiment and expect it to be perfect the first time you do it. I mean, of course not, you wouldn't. So, but what you learn from that is information. And from that information, I can then do it again. And maybe I change one thing and then I try it again. But that's, I guess, a big point that I've learned around mindset is, one, having that growth mindset, two, working on my mindset every day and just knowing how important it is, and then three, being a part of a community.
Love that. Yeah, really well said. Fail. Don't be afraid to fail. Fail fast. Fail a lot, but fail forward. Take those lessons, take that information, and yeah, it's always a win. What you said about having a group, I think, is really important too. So I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, but like when I started this business and I was like, I'm going to have my own teaching business and I'm going to stop working for a school, I got some encouragement, but like there was a lot of skepticism. And like I remember after a few months when I wasn't having a lot of success, like my housemates at the time, there might have been a few sarcastic comments, a few jokes. And I think that's just part of it, but it's so important as well to surround yourself with like people who are with you, who are going through the same process and who have that same growth mindset as you. So like Steffi and I actually, like going back almost 4 years when we started this, we actually had like a weekly mindset group when we were all doing our teaching business, and we meet every week and we just talk about things. And like it's so valuable to surround yourself with those people on this journey. Like you don't have to go it alone. And it can make all the difference.
And every time you get influenced by others with these negative thoughts, you need to remind yourself, I don't want to be the victim. All right. So I'm referring back to the book Think and Grow Rich, because I'm finishing my second time reading it. So every time I read it, right, I learn something new. This time, so it talks about you need to be clear. Like it actually says in the book, there should be what is called, there should be laws out there to punish people spread negative thoughts. So basically there are criminals if they are spreading negative thoughts, because it's hurting others mentally, psychologically, right? So I see that's what's happening in a lot of Facebook groups. So much negativity in this group, and these people should go on trial, should go to prison. Basically, that's what it says in the book. So because they need to get published, and they're influencing others with the negative thoughts. So for us, right, we need to make it clear, you don't want to be the victim. Okay, stay away from me. I don't want to be the victim. And also on the other hand, join a group that actually give you these positivities to help you with your mindset. Stay with them, right? So just kind of one thing I thought about to share. So very quickly, guys, one more thing I want to kind of talk about is you guys know what I was doing when I had to step away. I was writing the email about this referral program which launched yesterday, and we'll just send you guys. If you are on our email list, you probably have received a email about this referral program. I want to kind of talk about that one more time. So if you guys like this event, you feel like, oh my God, Bowie team is doing great, I got inspired, I would love more teachers and educators can hear this, can get inspired. We're the source, a source of positive thoughts, just like spreading the positive thoughts. And if you want help us empower more teachers and educators so they know us, they can find out about us, they can find out about our free events, I would love you to join us in the referral programs. So our referral program we just launched this week. So what happens is, so if you can join this referral program, and then and then if you refer someone to our free workshop events, and you get rewards. So if you can just refer one person to us, you can get the slides and the exercises we share at our workshops. If you can refer to 30 friends, we want to give you one of our courses in our library, digital course library, for free. You can pick any one of these, anyone up to $300 value. You can pick it, tell us what you want, and we're going to send it to you if you can refer 30 people to us through our referral program. So I'm going to share this referral link, register link, and also I made a video. I made a video about this. Let me get this video, and yeah, I sent it to you. I also made a video explaining how this works, tutorial video. I'll send it to you guys, right? So yeah, help us. And I know a lot of you guys already joined. We had 50 people joined yesterday, and we already got a lot of referrals. I think this is the way we want to do it. We want to deliver. We want to do a good job. We want to help educators, and then you guys feel like we are worth sharing with others. Share us with others, right? Thank you guys for helping us, and I think with your help, we can reach our goal. Our goal in 2024 is to empower 100,000 educators and teachers around the world. All right, help us with that. Thank you so much. Whether you think or you think again, all right? Henry. Antonio. Okay, somebody. Okay, you have to. All right, so here, this is great. Referral to then one clicks, no signups. Yeah, that's great. So I guess I don't know why, but you can work on the probably the post itself. And the other thing is, the referral link takes the destination of the referral link changes every month. All right. So this month when you share the referral links, it takes people to the 3D workshop. Next month it's gonna be the other events we run, and then the next month gonna be a different one. So every month we'll share these events because some people might be interested in different events, and there are going to be people who join eventually. I believe that. Yeah, so Steph said we would love to have 100,000 more educators in the community this year. We can't manage it without you. Thank you, Steffi, for that. All right, guys. So Robbie, Robbie, you're on mute. Sorry. Yeah.
Go ahead. I think am I okay now?
Yeah, good now.
What are we on right now? I think we're around like 22,000. So
yeah,
25. So 75,000 more educators. What do you think? Do you think we can do it?
Of course, we already did it.
This is from the book, right?
That's the mindset, right? We already did it. We already did it. So we just now we're doing our job to deliver and to get the results. And I know with your help, we can turn 100 to 1,000 to 10,000 to 100,000, right? Everyone you refer to, they join our workshop, they like what they do, we refer us to other ones. So I think that's gonna happen, and that's already happened.
Exactly. We can't do it without this community. So our job is to do a really good job. So you guys feel proud to refer us to other people because you think like it's worth listening to, it's worth sharing. So yeah, hopefully together we can reach that goal.
Thank you guys. Yeah, so today's about fear of failure and the success. We talk a lot actually, fixed mindset, growth mindset. We talk about we even refer back to the imposter syndrome, the perfectionism, right? And other fears as well. So fear is what is again? I think fear is the result of doubts and something I can't remember. But we need to fix fears, right? So fears, and anytime you have fears, I think just come to us. There's gonna be something we can help you. with don't worry about fears, and the mindset is all about mindset. And when you have a clear goals, right? When you have a clear goals, it helps with fears, because you have clear goals. You know what to do with your actions, to take action, and you are more likely to see some results to help you overcome the fear, to feel more confident. So the goal setting workshop, mindset workshop next week can help too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just an important point about fear as well, James, is like, don't wait until you're not scared to do something. Like, do it scared. Just be brave and do it scared. And like, usually the biggest rewards are waiting at the other side of that action.
Yeah.
I love that.
I have let me see if I can find an image. I used to use one of images. Do it scared. Yeah, I can't find it anymore. GIF. But anyways, guys, yeah, thanks for being here. Bookmark the event page. We're gonna have our next educator mindset talk on Friday. I think it's 11 a.m. Eastern time. 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's gonna be 4 p.m. UK, 5 p.m. CET. Right. Join us, please. Talk about promoting yourself. Right. That's a very good topic. And if you haven't registered to the 3D workshop next week, please do that and help us, join the referral program and help us spread the words, and let more people see us, more educators see us, and know they're gonna thank you for referring us to them, and know they're gonna thank you for that. Yeah, thanks everyone for being here, and thanks to Robbie and Gemma for stepping in and hosting this session. And yeah, thank you guys for being here today.
See you on Friday.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.